Hey everyone, stick with us versus herd. If it's your first time here, like the content, hit subscribe. If you want to get notifications for when we post videos, tap the bell. And if you want to join the UVH fam, our community, links are below in the description to our Discord and our options trading group on Facebook. If you're here right now, comment below, say what up. Definitely want to get to meet you. What I'm going to be doing today is kind of going over what you need to get started options trading. I get a lot of questions saying, hey, what exactly do I need? Do I need $50,000? Do I need $20,000? A lot of it's money-based, but a lot of people don't realize there's a lot more to options trading than just putting money in the account and hoping that you get rich, right? It requires a lot of work. It requires a lot of dedication. If you do me a favor, hit the like button for the YouTube algo. I definitely appreciate it. Now, getting into it, like I said, a lot of people ask, like, what do I need to get started? Because everyone's seeing, especially with the volatility that we have right now in the market, you see people making a lot of money. What people don't realize starting out is that people like me and other people that are posting gains, which you think that are easy money to get, which maybe some of the trades maybe are easy to that, and it is what it is. But for most traders, it took years and years and years to get to where they want to go. So I'm not trying to discourage you, but if you think that you're going to be consistent over a long period of time, you're going to need to put in the work. You're going to need to get the screen time. You're going to have to see what's going on. But first and foremost, you're going to need a brokerage account. And my favorite brokerages right now, Robinhood is not on the list, guys. Robinhood is not on the list. And a lot of times I talk about, you're only as good as the tools that you have, right? And if the tools that you have aren't good, how do you expect to be a good trader? How do you expect, if you're going to buy the cheapest lawnmower, do you think your grass is going to turn out the way that you want to? It's going to come out near perfect every time? No. You invest in yourself, invest in the platforms. Like, I don't understand it. It costs money to do that. Yes. It costs money to conduct business in the real world. Nothing is free. A lot of people are not going to like this video, but it is what it is. I'm just going to be upfront with you. If you go anywhere and you open a business, and that's what you're doing, when you're options trading and you're opening a business, because options trading is a business, you're going to have to put in some money. You're going to have to put, even if it costs you, yes, it's going to cost you to use their platforms. So, links are below in the description if you want to use my referral code to tastyworks and Webull. But my favorite platforms right now, tastyworks. I love tastyworks, and you can see right now I use tastyworks for all my trades in terms of execution. However, charting, I use thinkorswim. Tastyworks charting is flat out terrible, but I find tastyworks to be the best in terms of their pricing if you have to pay a commission, and on top of that, what they actually provide you in terms of customer support. Like if you are with Robinhood and you try to put in, like you have an issue, you have to send an email, no one gets back to you. Here, there's a live chat person. You can call them, you get a real person, and the list goes on. So you get that support as well. But to get started, you're going to need a cash account or a margin account, and tastyworks has what they call as the works, or they have the individual account, which is the cash account. But the works is everything that you need. But if you want to bypass the pattern day trader rule, you're going to need a cash account, okay? And one of the things that how much money do you need to put in these accounts? And this is kind of like what my recommendation is for starting out, okay? Starting out, I recommend, like with a cash account, you're gonna need around $2,000. Now, I don't recommend ever putting in your entire investment into one, like putting all $2,000 into one contract. I definitely don't recommend that. But starting out, if you're trading $100 at a time, you're trading $50 at a time, then $2,000 is good. If you have a margin account, maybe a little bit more room to play with, because you're going to be selling some spreads, maybe doing a debit spread, maybe doing a credit spread. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, we'll get to that towards the end of the video here. But starting out, for me, I have both. I have a margin account and a cash account. I use both. I like to use both. And in tastyworks, you can flip back and forth between the two of them without leaving the screen. Like Robinhood, you don't have that ability to switch between cash account and margin account. You can get switched to you're automatically in a margin account with Robinhood, but then to get switched to a cash account, that's permanent. With tastyworks, you can have as many accounts as you want. You can have 2 margin accounts. You get 5 cash accounts, whatever you want to have. You can have. there. Okay, this is just kind of what I recommend getting started, just so you have some comfort, because you don't want to put your entire investment into it. And this is serious. I mean, I'm talking about $6,000 here, which is a lot for most people. And yes, you can probably cut this down in half, but for a margin account like the Works, you're going to need at least $2,000 in that margin account to get approved. Cash account, you can have I don't think there's a minimum for the cash account on most of these. So, tastyworks, I think, is the most flexible in terms of their platform, in terms of what they offer, and the execution for the trades are super fast. Now, pricing wise, they kind of come in at, they're $1 for opening, $0 to close. So, that is one of the cheaper options. So it's not that expensive. Comparing it to TD Ameritrade, when you're looking at options here, you're paying, yes, $0, but you're paying 65 cents per contract to open and close. Tastyworks also has, I'm not going to go too much into the account. You can hit the links below. I'll put the links below, because I don't want this to be just about brokerages, but it is important to know that Tastyworks does cap their commissions at 10 contracts. So if you buy like 11 contracts, you're still paying for 10 contracts. You're buying 20 contracts, you're still paying for 10 contracts. Unlike TD Ameritrade, it's a little bit more expensive. However, I love their charts. I use their charts on my trades, so I'm using both at the same time. As you can kind of see here, I also use Tastyworks. Okay, and it's great. So I use both at the same time. Now, for the people that don't want to pay, like, I just want to try things out, then I definitely recommend Webull. Again, the referral link is below. If you sign up for Webull, we both get free stocks. You get free stocks, I get free stocks, we all get free stocks. Who doesn't like free stocks? So if you sign up, put $100 in there, good to go. But Webull, the one thing that I will say about Webull is they do not currently allow spreads. And that's why I was kind of recommending Tastyworks. They allow you to do spreads. Webull does not allow you to do spreads. However, they are commission free for all their options, trades, stocks, ETFs, everything. So anything that you do on Webull is going to be free 99. People are like, I really like that. However, you're limited because you can't do spreads. Okay. However, like for their platform, really enjoy their platform. They do have a native Windows app, which Robinhood does not. They have a native Mac app. They have obviously iOS, Android, and then you can use in the browser like Robinhood Web, that kind of thing. So that is why I would recommend Webull if you're just trying to get your feet wet. You're trying to just see what's going on. But for the seasoned trader, people that want to take this seriously, I would definitely recommend signing up for Tastyworks and using TD Ameritrade for charting. Get the combo going. Okay. I'm all about trying to be serious about this life. Now, the next thing that you have to kind of identify is, what type of trader are you going to be, right? What type of trader are you? Are you a day trader? Do you have the flexibility to sit at your desk all the time and look at what the market is doing? Evaluate how much time do you have to put in this. Do you have a 9 to 5? Do you work at night? You work in the morning? You work overnight? I mean, how are you going to figure this out? If you're a day trader, you're going to need a lot of time and attention to actually put into this. You need to. This is very, very, very important, because if you don't set up the right strategy, you're going to fail. You're going to lose money. Most people, especially since most people have day jobs, they're looking at swing trading. What is swing trading? Swing trading is you put a position on and you're holding overnight or multiple nights, and assuming that you have a plan that's going to work out for. And a lot of people do that. They say, okay, I can only trade like during my lunch hour, or I can only trade at this time and this time. And if you're really constrained on time, swing trading is probably where most are going to be at, unless you're just kind of like scalping the market. But again, you have to go what's right for you. If you're not sure, you can always paper trade. Open up a paper trading account on TD Ameritrade. It's free. You can kind of test different things out. You can see what the market is doing, and then you can also, they also have like up in here the on-demand mode in the upper right hand corner, so you can actually relive trading days. So let's say you didn't get the trade yesterday, but you wanted to relive what that was like. You didn't know what happened, so you can actually rewind the clock and say, okay, I want to trade live, but of yesterday, and you can use that to paper trade and make some trades that way. And it's a good way to learn. Like I don't think people truly understand if you want to be successful at options trading, the barrier to entry is rather high. And most people, it's not that options trading is hard. It is very hard. But I think people underestimate the amount of work and the barrier to entry there is. It's not just about having money. It's not just about having $100,000 or $500,000 or even $1 million account. It's not even about that. It's about who you are and identifying what type of trader you want to become. If you're the type of trader that says, "Oh, I only want to make a couple extra $100 a month," that's fine. If someone's like, "Oh, I want to make this a full-time job," then you're going to have to put in more work up front. If you're casually trading, you can kind of chill, put a position on, maybe like, "Oh, I think, JP Morgan's going to go up, or I think Apple's going to go up, I'll buy a call. Oh, I think Apple's going to go down, I'll buy a put," or, a debit spread or a credit spread. Now, to kind of get into the next thing is, if you don't know what I'm talking about, like if you don't know what these things are, you're gonna have to spend a lot of time learning what basic definitions are. Like there's a lot of things like in the platform, like looking right now and in thinkorswim right now, you're like, "Oh, what is all this? Like why are these labeled weeklies? Why are these not? This is the monthly expiration. These are the weekly expiration." Then going into here is like, "Oh, what is bid? What is ask? What is volume? What is theta? What is delta?" Like if you don't know what that stuff is, and you just are buying and you're trying to buy and you're trying to sell and you're just pushing buttons, I guarantee it's not going to end up well for you. I'm actually working on a training course right now that's going to help a lot of people through this. But for right now, go to Investopedia. Start learning what the basic definitions are. Start learning what things are. You need to understand what things are before you can be not even a profitable trader, but even able to execute a trade. Like if you don't know what you're buying, if you just buy a put and you don't know what a strike price is, you don't know what those things are, you're going to need to figure that out. You're going to need to figure out what the basics are, what the definitions are, and then to start applying it to the market, right? Now, the last but not least thing you need to start doing is get a journal. A lot of people skip this. Like, "Oh, I could just trade." No, you cannot. You cannot. The psychological piece is what is missing for most traders. I'll tell you again, the psychological piece is what missing for most traders. List your strengths and your weaknesses. I'm being dead serious. You need to list your strengths and your weaknesses, like in the real world, because who you are as a person and who you are in the real world is going to come into your trades. If you're an angry person, you're going to become an angry trader. If you're a greedy person, like if greed controls you, you're going to be a greedy trader. All of these things, you got to balance them out. And honestly, you learn more about yourself trading than you do a lot of other things. I'll be honest with you. I've learned more about myself trading options than I have. And you may know certain things are true, but maybe not have identified that. If you're like I was saying, if you're an angry person or a greedy person or a selfish person, or all this kind of comes into play. And if you're lazy, you're going to have problems too. Like all these characteristics come together, and then you want to get a journal. Like, okay, what did I do right? Start listing your winning trades when you start making some trades. What did I do right? What were the characteristics of a winning trade for you? What were the characteristics of a losing trade for you? What did you do? What do you think you did wrong? What happened? Did you catch some FOMO, fear of missing out, and say, "Oh, I'm just going to go in," and then it reversed and you lost 50%? Options are no game. You don't want to be messing around, because you can easily lose 50 to 100% of your money. Like, this is no joke. That's why you want to trade safe. I always say during my videos, stay safe, stay green, because we need that reminder. It's serious. I'm dead serious. You need to list your strengths and your weaknesses, and this is going to make you a much, much, much better trader. List them out and find where you can improve. Find areas of improvement, because all this stuff, like if you just had a bad day, it's going to trickle over into your trading. You're going to not care as much. If you don't care as much, you're going to get sloppy with your entries. If you get sloppy with your entries, you're most likely going to lose. So see how this kind of all ties together. Like trading, it's not just about making money. You have to identify the pros and cons. You have to identify your strengths and weaknesses. You have to identify what areas that you want to concentrate on. There's a million ways to make money in the market every day. You can't trade them. You can't be there for them all. You have to focus on only what you can focus on. Like if you want to only focus on Apple, only focus on Apple. If you only want to focus on Netflix, like start small. What happens to a lot of traders, and I'm guilty of it myself, is like, getting very distracted. Like, oh, this stock's moving. Okay, this stock's, slow it down. Focus on one stock. Focus on two stocks. See what happens. Learn the price movement. Each stock has its own personality. It moves its own way. They all move differently. You have to learn what the characteristics of that stock. How does it move? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're going to find out because you need that screen time. Like look at me right now. I'm just looking at charts. I'm not trading right now, but looking at charts, seeing how things move. Like, oh, when the S&P goes down, how does it impact Apple? When the S&P goes up, how does that impact Netflix or Microsoft? When the S&P or the NASDAQ or whatever, and you start finding correlations, you start finding patterns, you start seeing like, oh, well, Amazon is tanking really hard. Why is that? The rest of the market's not. Maybe a certain sector is getting hit. And this is where you start generating some trade ideas like, oh, maybe this, maybe that, and not just getting headlines and saying, oh, Florida is really bad right now and Disney's open up. I'm gonna buy a put on Disney. Like that is not trading. That is not evaluating. What the news says and what the numbers on the screen say are two different things. People try to put them together like, oh, I'm trying to do this and do that. And yes, there's certain things like, a federal investigation probe. Yeah, that's into somebody's accounting practices. Yes, that's news that's going to tank the stock, guaranteed. But when we're talking about, oh, we're like in technically like a depression now and, things should be way down and things should be blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. What matters is the price on the screen. What is the price on the screen? And that's what's going to happen. That is what's happening right now. And then where do you think that is going to go? Is it just, did the stocks just fall back down to the 10-day moving average and then they're just bouncing off and getting a little break? Are we in a full bearish pattern and we're pushing down? If you don't know what bearish means, hit up investopedia.com, look up bullish and bearish. This is kind of where you need to get started. And a lot of people don't think, yes, if you're just looking to get into options, it's complicated. You are in over your head, but you have to start somewhere, just like a job, anywhere. It's overwhelming when you start someplace new, but you have to put in the time, you have to do the research, and you have to, figure out who you are as a person. So if you enjoy this comment below, watch to the end, hit the like button, and as always, stay safe, stay green. It's us for certain.